Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Great to have you here, as always, to start the week on our Motivation and Mindset Monday show, where the topic of the day is adding just this one thing to your daily routine. And that is because, especially this time of the year, we are inundated with all of the different things that we could be doing in order to move forward in our life. So I think that most people, especially people listening to this podcast, they want to be more successful. It's not that they're not successful now. It's just they know they have more. They have more potential. They have more ability. They want to learn new skills. They want to be able to live life to the very fullest. And I think that that's admirable, and it's something that we should absolutely strive for. So that is what I'm trying to support you on your mission to be able to do. Myself, the same exact thing. It's every single day of every single year looking to improve, not to be the best in the world at anything, but simply to get better and be the absolute best version of me so that I can be a good role model for my family, for my daughters, and many more generations to come. But really, that's the goal, is just to be the best version of me. But in order to do that, I need to understand that there is a finite resource that all of us have. So eventually in life, you might accumulate a little bit more money, accumulate a little bit more experience. Like, these things are all great. There's no doubt about it. But the problem is, none of that money really matters. None of your skills really matter. Your education doesn't really matter, because we all know, and I want to qualify that, we all know very educated people. We all know well-skilled people. We all know people with a lot of money, but they're not happy, or they're not where they want to be in life. And there's a good reason for that, is that they get overwhelmed, just like most people, with either one of two things: paralysis by analysis, right? It's like, these are all the different things that you could be doing. So basically, you spend so much time researching what you need to do, you never move forward. It's years before you ever move forward. Or the other part is that you are not willing to change what you're doing right now. And I got my start in gyms, like the lowest rung on the pole, right? So what did I do? Well, I essentially went into a gym when I was, 17, 18 years old, looking to put my own body back together. And I picked up weights. I cleaned up the gym. I assisted members with, maybe a bench press if they needed a spot, anything like that. And then eventually said, wow, look at these people doing personal training, and look at these people talking about nutrition. And that's what I then got into. So again, there's nothing wrong with starting there, but what I meant by that, where that story really is going, is we would always see, again, people who worked in the gym, we would see the same people year in and year out, and which is a great thing. But a lot of the people looked exactly the same. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that either. However, their goal was to drop 30 pounds, or their goal was to put on 10 pounds of muscle, or their goal was to be able to run, 5 miles, 10 miles, complete a sprint triathlon, whatever it might be. And much of that never changed from year to year, no matter how many days they put in the gym, because there wasn't necessarily a plan behind it, so they weren't working the right plan. So there's basically two parts to this equation, and we'll get to that one thing in just a second. But one is, eventually you need to stop the research train, stop all of the different, books and all the things that you've been reading. It's not that you need to stop reading, it's just that you need to start implementing, right? So you could analyze all day long all the things that you should be doing, right? Or could be doing. But if you're not doing any of them ever or consistently, then you're not going to move forward. That's number one. And the second is that if you've been working a plan for 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and there should be some tangible results by now, it's time to move on to a new plan. And it doesn't always mean that the plan that you were on was bad. What it means is that it needs to be tailored and tweaked just a little bit more for you. Okay, so we have that first phase. But the second phase is this. And really, the more years that I keep putting into private practice, the more I realize that if you really want to achieve anything in your life, so let's break it down, right? What are my categories for life? Spirituality, relationships, health, your body, your fitness, your weight, all of that matters because, again, I know that we are in a world that is basically saying, it is okay to be 300 pounds. And honestly, it is okay to be 300 pounds. It really is. I'm the biggest supporter of you and the choices that you want to make. But we have to understand, being 300 pounds comes at a consequence. And so me being in the health field, I say, listen, I support you no matter what. I pass judgment 0% of the time. But what I want to say is this, because I don't believe there's that perfect body. I don't. Some people are actually meant to be 5'8", 180 pounds, man or woman. Some people are 5'2", and at that 5'8", 180, they're also meant to be 5'8", 125. So, because there's the pitta, the kapha, and the vata body type. So again, like there's no one perfect body. I'm not saying that, but 300 pounds, even at 7 feet tall, that's going to be tough on your health. So for me, it comes back to health. So we do have to understand is like there are certain principles in life that we need to be following. So our body does matter because if your BMI, and again, I know that, again, I'm going back to my personal training roots. We don't always talk about BMI, but for 99% of the population, it works. And if yours is above a 24.9, I highly recommend you get it down. Again, unless you're in that less than 1% of the population that has more muscle mass and et cetera, et cetera. But again, that even may be a hindrance as we get older. Let's talk about one thing though. And I have many podcasts on BMI and all these things. I want you to live a long, healthy life. I don't want you to be like most people, where by the time they get into their 40s, they're now diagnosed with their first disease. Arthritis, meaning rheumatoid arthritis, or they've got some type of autoimmune issue, or they have high cholesterol, they have high blood pressure, you name it. It is so difficult to live a long, healthy, good quality of life if you don't have your health. That's why the motto of the Cabral concept is change your body, change your life. You don't need to make it created to look like someone else's. You need to get your best. That's what it's all about, being your best. So health, body, weight loss, getting to a healthy weight, that absolutely does matter. Trust me, it matters because when you pass away in your late 60s because of all the complications of being over your ideal weight, you didn't get to live that long, healthy life. So take care of your body, take care of your health. So important. The two go together. All right, so we have our spirituality, we have our relationships, we have our health, we have our body, and then we have our career, our passion, our purpose, whatever that might be. And of course, finances can work into that. So when we know what our goals are, I've talked about this in the last couple of weeks shows, you need to choose one, no more than two at a time, 1, 2 maximum, because we basically need to get some steam going. We need to get a full head of steam so that we are moving forward in life. We're moving towards our goals. And if you're scattered, what happens? Well, you're not going to put in the very best effort that you could. It's just not going to happen. But the second part is this, and here's the one thing. The one thing, this is very important to me because, again, I've seen it play out over and over and over. Those people that do every day moving towards their goals with no day off, maybe Sundays, that's it, one day off, maybe, are most likely to achieve their goals. Now, why? Let's think about this. Let's say that you need to put in 2 hours total a week of exercise. Let's just say that's a goal. That's 4 hours times a half hour a day. We could say 5 hours times 25 minutes or so. Okay, so you can do all those different things, or you could just put 2 hours in, 1 hour on Sunday, 1 hour on Saturday, right? And so, okay, you've got your weekends because you're working so hard and all these different things Monday through Friday. I get it. The problem is, and yes, you're right, you put in the same amount of time. What happens is you're not putting in the consistency. Why does this matter? Well, consistency is huge for a couple of different reasons. If it becomes part of your routine, it's scheduled every day. It's just like, hey, from 6:30 to 7 a.m. I do this. And I'll talk about why I talk about the morning in just a moment. 6:30 to 7 a.m. I do this every single day of the week. Well, if you do that, what's going to happen? You're more consistent. It's just part of your daily routine. Why? Because we talk about this in the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. It's part of our mastery course, which is going on now, and it's called habit stacking. And basically what you're doing is you're saying, it's every day. Like at 6:30 a.m. I'll give you a couple examples in a few moments. I'm doing this. Meaning it's now just part of you. It's part of your identity. It's who you are. For me, there's just no way I'm sleeping past, even on the weekend, 7 a.m. It's not going to happen. I mean, if I stayed out late for one particular evening or whatever, maybe 7:30. But like, it's just, you're not going to find me waking up later than that. This is because I have a need. It's part of who I am. It's part of my identity of who I've created, is that I wake up earlier and I get things done first thing in the morning. Now, it doesn't have to be like work or all these things. I get things done on me so that I feel fulfilled. Feel fulfilled, so that I am then better for everyone else around me. And it doesn't take a lot of time. I'm talking about like a half hour to myself. But if I get that half hour, okay, I'm ready for all of the demands of relationships and kids and work and whatever it might be. But here's the thing. Let's get back to the consistency. The consistency is key. So you might say, well, I can get the same amount done if I'm just putting in my reading on the weekends, if I'm just putting in my whatever it might be. And I would say yes. But what happens is it's not always on your mind. So that's the other part. It's not just about consistency. It's on your mind every single day, which is also why I like you to work on your one thing. We'll talk about that again in just a second, every single day. Now, this is key because when you focus on something, you might have heard it before in the law of attraction or the law of vibration or any of these different things. What does this matter? Well, here's the thing. If you are always thinking about your goal, if it's up on your wall, if it's top of mind, if you do it first thing in the morning, what happens? Well, you become in alignment with those things that would bring you towards your goal. So there is a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS, the RAS. We know through psychology that your brain is more trained to look for opportunities when you're always focused on one thing. That's why you can't be scattered in your goals. 1 or 2 maximum, that's it. I even like to just do 1 now to get started. So the example is always this. Let's say that you are looking to purchase a new car. And so you go online and you look up all different cars, the safety features, the speed, the whatever you might be into for a car. Now, you might find a new car and you're like, wow, I never even really heard about this car before. Now your mind's on that car. You're thinking about it. You say like, this is the car that I want for me. You go outside. You've never seen this car before, or at least you think you haven't. And all of a sudden, you start to see this car every single day. And you thought it was this rare car. You thought you'd never see it before. And of course, there are rare cars out there. But that is an example of that reticular activating system. Your brain has seen this car go by every day, but you've never tuned into it because it has never been top of mind for you. So this is why when people say, oh, that person's so lucky, they seem to catch all the breaks. Well, the breaks come by, right? They're coming by. They're moving by. It's like a river. It's like that. I always relate it back to being in India for some of my, well, actually, I was only in Dehradun in the foothills of the Himalayas once for an internship, and I was working with Dr. Morishi, and related to the Ganges River. The Ganges River, it's always moving. It's flowing down. And as it's flowing, it's not at a super fast pace, but it's always moving. And when you watch like the different ceremonies and things move down the river, they're there. They're there for you to reach out. They're there for you to capture. They're there for you to see, but then they're gone. And it's a very interesting parallel because we have opportunities that come by every day. Now, they might not be huge breaks in your life. There's no doubt about it, but they're there. The question is, if we're not ready for them, if they're not top of mind, well, we don't have the opportunity to get lucky. So that's such a big thing. It's that preparation meets opportunity, right? So you're preparing every single day to achieve your goals. Now, let's talk about these goals. Let's say it's weight loss and you want to lose 30 pounds. You want to lose 50 pounds. Well, what are you doing every single day? I don't need more than a half hour from you towards your goals. I don't. Now, can you put in more time? Yes. What if you could put in 2 half hours a day to begin the day and end the day? Well, if you could do that, game changer, because now your mind is working on all the different opportunities, all the different things that you could do overnight. And then you wake up first thing in the morning. What do? Same thing again. 30 minutes, you bookend your days. If you can bookend your days, that's a podcast in the future. That is going to move you at a much faster rate. Plus, now you're doing an hour a day. 1 hour times 7 days a week. And we're talking 7 days a week. Again, 6 days. It's okay to take off Sundays if you'd like. I now take off Sundays. But let's say that you're doing that. What are you looking at? Well, you're looking at exponential growth every month, about 30 hours or so every single month, right? Well, over the course of a year, that's going to be 30 times 50. What is that, like 1,500 hours or so? I mean, that's really starts to add up. Is that true? That can't necessarily be true. But let's just say my mind is, 30 times 12. That's right. So we're looking at 360 hours right there. So when we're looking at that, we are looking at a lot of work being able to put in. And so that's what I want for you, is understanding really what this looks like. Well, 360 hours 360 hours a year or so, that's like 9 40-hour work weeks. I mean, that's a lot of work towards your goals. So that's why these things build up. That's why you need to stay focused on your goals. And even if you just did the 30 minutes a day, you're looking at 4.5 weeks per year that you are dedicated solely to working in this one project. So what would this look like? Well, the thing is, you need to know your one thing. So by the end of this show, replay the show if you need to. I want you to think about, I want you to journal. I want you to try to figure out, what is your one thing? What's the one thing that you have to achieve over the next few months or this year? And again, if it's a 50-pound weight loss, you can do that in a year. Like, that is not insurmountable. You'll probably be able to do that in 6 months. But let's say you've been struggling with it. And let's even say, well, you need to rebalance your thyroid, cortisol, estrogen, blood sugar. It might just not be a simple fix for you. And I get it. It still won't take more than a year. So, because you have to explore some different opportunities, some different avenues, some different roads, but you need to work on that every day. So again, what are you going to be doing with that 30 minutes a day? Well, it doesn't have to be working out every single day for that 30 minutes, let's say between 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. And I think that's a nice sweet spot for most people, because it allows them still to get ready for work. They're up typically before a lot of their family, and they can still go to bed by 10:30. You can still get 8 hours of sleep in there. So there's a lot you can do with that nice little spot between 6:30 and 7 a.m. And again, you can adjust it for your schedule as well. But let's look at it this way. Let's say you're working out 4 of those days a week. Great. What are you doing the other days of the week for that half hour? Well, you want to be meal prepping. You want to be reading. You want to be like journaling how you're moving towards your goals, all of those different things. But again, your mind's focused on it. What I would do is I would say 7 days a week, I am exercising or moving my body or just walking. They don't all have to be vigorous and, back-breaking workouts. They really don't. And probably not as detrimental to your cortisol levels in the first place. But 6:30, 7 a.m., you're moving your body every single morning. And then you're getting started with the healthy breakfast. But the night before, you could be doing meal prep. Like, that could be your half hour the night before. Now you're dramatically moving forward towards your goals, because we know that diet and exercise have to be the cornerstone of losing weight, but not only losing weight, but keeping it off for life and keeping it healthy. So again, this is good for most of us, and that goes for anti-aging. I'm telling you right now, so many people are waiting until their 40s, 50s, 60s to say, oh, I'm going to, I want to make sure that I keep my body, my muscles toned and all of those things. If you wait, it is exponentially harder to get there. Do it now. You only need 2 days a week, 3 days a week maximum of strength training to be able to keep those results. Yes, you can do your cardio. Yes, you can do your sprints. Yes, you can do your yoga on other days as well. But 2 to 3 days a week, you have to get that strength training in there, because if you want to maintain your metabolism and you want to maintain your muscle, do it now, 2 to 3 days a week. So build that right into your schedule. But here's the thing, relationships matter too, right? We can't just focus on our health, our body. Well, what about our relationships? That 30 minutes a day, whether it's at night, whether it's after the kids go to bed, what is it? Like, that is the time that you need to be focused on. How am I going to find the right person? How am I going to deepen my current relationship? Same with spirituality. Like, are you purposely looking to increase or improve your spirituality? It might be reading, it might be working on specific courses, like whatever it might be. And then again, the same thing with career. You can move light years ahead in the world, in your career, by simply studying something, anything, becoming certified with a half hour a day, an hour maximum per day. I mean, that is a lot of time to put in, and you will see the results. Excuse me. So the one thing I want to leave with you is this, and it's vitally important. It's that I don't want you scattered, and I don't want you, after a period of time, a couple weeks of really researching what it is that you should be doing, maximum. You're either hiring the coach, following the blueprint, following the certification, following the course, following the book, like whatever it is. You're following a plan, and you're building it as your one thing, whatever it is. Again, dating, relationships, career, health, body, spirituality. Pick one, follow through, begin to implement it. I really feel, again, that first thing in the morning or close to that 6:30, 7 a.m., do it for 30 minutes. That's your time, all right? Again, your job, your family, whatever, they get the most of your time. There's no doubt about it. Same with my life, my work and then my family. They get all of my time. So I just need a little bit of me time. That's it. And I carve out these half-hour blocks, and I have about 2 or 3 per day. I don't have a ton, but I have 2 or 3, right? And what do? I've got the bookends. First thing, end of the day, but I also have that little bit of time around lunch that I can put in my time as well. Maybe you get there, maybe you don't. Either way, it's okay. Build in what is your one thing. Start that first thing in the morning, and if you can, you'll do it at the end of the day. So again, homework for today. What is your one thing? What is the one thing that you need to achieve this year? And then follow that 12-year or that 12-week plan, okay? Go back, check out that episode if you don't know about the 12-week plan. That is going to be on episode 1788, all right? 1788 is the 12-week plan. You'll learn my goal-setting system, and I'm excited to share that show if you haven't already listened to it as well. Hopefully today's show was helpful. If it was, please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I'd like to share with you what we have going on over at Equalife. Equalife is the equivalent to my private practice that has now been brought online and is virtual to be able to greater serve people all throughout the world. We literally ship at-home lab kits and protocols to over 25 different countries, and we've been doing that for many years. So what I'd like to do is share with you right now a special offer over at equi.life. That's our website, equi.life. And it truly embodies, as I said, our private functional medicine and integrative health practice. So what we are offering right now are the same exact labs we use inside of the private practice. And that is, to you, it's essentially open sourced so that you can find your own levels of your vitamins, whether you need more or less, minerals, more or less, heavy metals, whether you need to be doing a heavy metal detox. We can look at gut function as the overgrowth of bacteria or yeast or parasites, H. pylori. We can look at your hormone levels to see if you're balanced in terms of estrogen and progesterone, testosterone levels, DHEA, that nice anti-aging hormone. We can look at your cortisol levels. We can look at that cortisol to see if you have high or low energy. We can look at your thyroid and so much more, like food sensitivities, mitochondrial function, detox function, environmental toxins, you name it. If you don't know about these labs, or if you've been thinking about running a lab, I would highly recommend you and your family head on over to equi.life/labs. Right now, while supplies last for each lab, we are offering $100 off every single lab. That means all single labs are $100 off, plus you're also getting a 30-minute health coaching call with that, so that we can not just run the lab, but actually read the results to you, let you know exactly what they mean and what you can do to go about rebalancing your body. There's really nothing else like it in the world. There's honestly not, because you would have to search out a functional medicine doctor or integrative health practitioner in your area, which of course you're always welcome to do. We are not against that by any means, but we want to make this process easy for you, your family, your loved ones. So right now, save $100 off all single labs that also come with that complimentary 30-minute health coaching call as well, to read your labs and get a plan that has been customized just for you. The website, once again, is equi.life, and you can go to equi.life/labs if you'd like to go directly there. Take care, everyone, and of course, you can always email us at support@equi.life with any questions.